Yo, what's good, Laker Nation? Sit down right now. Drop everything. Because what just happened at the Lakers emergency joint press conference at the UCLA Health Training Center this afternoon, less than 4 hours after Adam Silver and the NBA league office dropped the hammer on the Los Angeles Lakers, is the most explosive, most confrontational, most legacy-defining response by a franchise executive to an NBA punishment that I have ever seen. Rob Pelinka and Redick, the general manager and head coach, walked into that press room side by side, took the podium together, and they defied the NBA league office publicly, on camera, in front of every reporter in Los Angeles. They didn't apologize. They didn't accept responsibility. They attacked. They named Adam Silver by name. They named other franchises by name. They accused the league of selective enforcement. And they promised to fight the punishment through every legal channel available. This is the most defiant public response from an NBA franchise to a league punishment since the Donald Sterling era. And Laker Nation, this is big. Let me walk you through every single word real quick. That like button pushes this to every Lakers fan across America. 1 second, massive impact, smash it now. Context. Earlier today, the NBA league office announced disciplinary action against the Los Angeles Lakers stemming from an investigation into their 2025 off-season recruitment of Kevin Durant. The league concluded that the Lakers had improper contact with Durant's representatives before the official free agency negotiating period began. The punishment? A $10 million fine, one of the largest tampering fines in NBA history. Loss of their 2027 second-round draft pick. And this is the part that hurts. A formal reprimand of Rob Pelinka personally that will be included in his league personnel file. That last piece is the professional insult, because it means every time the Lakers try to hire anyone, every time Pelinka's name comes up for coach searches or GM searches around the league, there will be a formal reprimand in his file. That is not a small thing. That is a career-defining scar. Now, the response from the Lakers organization was expected to be quiet contrition. That's how NBA franchises usually handle these punishments. Statement from the team, we respect the process, we accept the ruling, quote, and move on quietly. Instead, Rob Pelinka called an emergency joint press conference with Redick. They came out swinging, and this is what happened. Rob Pelinka took the microphone first. He was wearing a black suit, no tie, sleeves rolled up. He looked angry. He looked determined, and his opening statement was the shot that started the war. Good afternoon. Before I take questions, I want to make a very specific statement on behalf of the Lakers organization. Today, the NBA league office announced a $10 million fine, the loss of a 2027 second-round pick, and a formal reprimand against me personally, based on their investigation into our 2025 pursuit of Kevin Durant. I want the Lakers fan base, the NBA fan base, and everyone watching to understand this organization disputes every single finding in that investigation. And we will be appealing this decision through every legal and league channel available to us, loudly, publicly, aggressively, because this ruling is not a fair application of NBA rules. It is a selective enforcement designed to punish the most valuable franchise in the league. Bro, the room froze. Because Rob Pelinka just publicly accused the NBA league office of selective enforcement. That is the strongest possible language a team executive can use against Adam Silver's league. That is not "we respectfully disagree." That is "we believe the league is targeting us." That is class action lawsuit language. And every reporter in that room understood instantly. This is going to be an ugly public fight for weeks. Pelinka wasn't done. He kept going, and the receipts came out fast. Let me lay out the facts of this situation so the public can decide who's telling the truth. Fact 1. During the 2024-25 season, multiple NBA franchises made improper contact with Kevin Durant's representation before the official free agency negotiating period. Not one, multiple. Our internal counsel has documented at least 4 other franchises. I won't name them today, but I will name them in our formal appeal, that had the same level of communication with Durant's camp that we allegedly had. Fact 2, none of those other franchises received any punishment whatsoever from the NBA. Zero. Not a fine, not a warning, not a memo. Fact 3, the only franchise that received punishment is the Los Angeles Lakers. Why? Because we are the most visible, most valuable, most nationally covered franchise in professional basketball. That is not fair enforcement. That is selective enforcement designed to send a message using the Lakers as the message board. And we will not be silent about it. We will not accept it. Whoa. He just accused Adam Silver of using the Lakers as a message board for other teams. That is incendiary language. And by hinting that 4 other teams did the same thing without punishment, Pelinka just planted the biggest possible seed for a media investigation, because now every NBA reporter is going to spend the next month trying to figure out which 4 teams Pelinka is talking about. And when that information comes out, the credibility of Adam Silver's investigation collapses. Then JJ Redick took the microphone. He looked at the reporters. He said, "I want to add something to what Rob just said." Because coaches don't usually get into these kinds of front office fights, but I feel like as the head coach of this organization, I have to stand next to my general manager on this one, because what happened today wasn't just an attack on Rob, it was an attack on the entire Lakers organization, and I refuse to be quiet about it. That was a powerful move. Because Redick, the young, media-savvy podcast veteran head coach, showing up next to Pelinka, publicly sends a signal to the entire NBA that the Lakers organization is united against the league office. That's a rare display. Coaches usually distance themselves from front office scandals. Redick just publicly bear-hugged Pelinka in the middle of a national crisis. Then Redick started listing his own receipts. And this is where things got really interesting. Let me tell you what actually happened during the 2025 offseason from my perspective, because I was on staff for the entire pursuit. When we sat down with Rob and the coaching staff to discuss Kevin Durant, every single meeting was documented. Every single call was routed through the proper league channels. Every single conversation with Kevin's representation happened within the timing windows established by the collective bargaining agreement. I sat in those meetings. I know what was said. And nothing the Lakers did during that pursuit was outside the rules. If the NBA wants to change the rules going forward, that's fine. Let's have that conversation, but you cannot retroactively punish a franchise for behavior that was within the rules at the time. That is not law. That is not procedure. That is bullying, and this franchise doesn't respond well to bullying. Y'all, JJ Redick just accused the NBA of bullying the Lakers, live, on camera, as the head coach. This is going nuclear by dinner time, because JJ Redick is a former ESPN broadcaster with massive media connections. Every colleague of his at ESPN, at The Ringer, at every major sports outlet is going to see this and know JJ isn't playing around. And when a former media guy who knows how these controversies get spun starts calling the NBA bullies on camera, the credibility hit to Adam Silver's league is enormous. A reporter jumped in. It was Dave McMenamin from ESPN. Dave asked, "Rob, are you saying the NBA punished the Lakers because of your visibility?" And Pelinka's answer here was surgical. "Dave, I'm saying the math is impossible to ignore. 4 or more franchises engaged in similar conduct. 1 franchise received punishment. That franchise happens to be the most media-covered team in the sport. That is not a coincidence. That is not random. That is a pattern." And if the NBA wants to argue with the pattern, I welcome them to release the entire investigation file publicly, release the interviews, release the communications they reviewed, release the list of all teams they investigated, because if they release that information, the public will see very quickly that this ruling doesn't hold up to scrutiny. If Adam Silver believes his ruling is fair, release the file, right now, today, prove it to the fan base, bro. He just publicly challenged Adam Silver to release the investigation file. That is a power move, because Silver knows he can't release it. Those investigations are always confidential to protect the sources and cooperating witnesses. But by challenging Silver publicly, Pelinka is turning the confidentiality of the investigation into evidence of unfairness. That is brilliant public relations warfare. And Adam Silver just got put in an impossible position. Either release confidential information, which he can't, or look like he has something to hide. Ramona Shelburne from ESPN asked the next question. Rob, the $10 million fine and the loss of the second-round pick are significant. What's the impact on the roster? And this is where Pelinka delivered his most political answer. Ramona, the financial impact on the Lakers organization from this fine is 0. Ownership has communicated to me directly that Jeanie Buss and the Buss family will absorb the $10 million out of team ownership funds. It will not affect any player payroll, any scouting budget, any coaching hire. We have the resources to eat this fine and still build a championship contender. The loss of the second round pick is more significant strategically, but manageable. What is not manageable, and what I want the fan base to understand, is the personal reprimand in my file. That's a professional stain that I did not earn, and I intend to fight it through every legal channel available. If the NBA wants to sue me for defamation for saying these things publicly, they can. I'll see them in court. My reputation is not for sale, and this organization's reputation is not for sale. And Jeanie Buss stands with me on this. That has been communicated clearly. Wow, he just publicly invited Adam Silver to sue him. That is confidence. That is Rob Pelinka basically saying you don't have the guts to take this to court because you'd lose. And by name-dropping Jeanie Buss's support publicly, he made sure the entire NBA knows this isn't just Pelinka going rogue. This is the entire Lakers ownership pushing back. Adam Silver just got put on notice. The next moment was fascinating. A young reporter asked, "Rob, some are saying this ruling is connected to the Austin Reeves trade demand from earlier this week. Is there any connection?" And Pelinka smiled, a little smirk, and he said, "Interesting question. I have no comment on any connection between these two events. I'll let the public draw their own conclusions." That non-answer was itself the answer, because he just publicly implied that the Lakers are being attacked from multiple directions, the NBA league office and their own player, in a coordinated way. Every conspiracy theorist in NBA Twitter just went wild. Every angle of the NBA hates the Lakers is going to be the top storyline for weeks. And whether or not that's actually true, Pelinka just planted the seed publicly. The final question came at the end. A reporter asked, "Rob, what's the message to Laker Nation?" And Pelinka delivered his closing statement. "Laker Nation, I want you to hear this from me clearly. This organization has been under sustained attack from multiple directions this offseason, from the NBA league office, from player representation, from national media, from analysts. Nobody expects the Lakers to make it easy. Nobody expects us to catch a break. That's what comes with being the most valuable, most watched, most successful franchise in this sport. But I want the fan base to know, we are not going anywhere. We are going to fight this ruling all the way to a resolution. We are going to fix our internal negotiations with Austin Reeves. We are going to build a championship team around Luka Doncic. And when we win our 18th title, I want every single Laker fan to remember that we did it despite the enemies stacked against us. Not because it was easy, because it was hard. That's what a Lakers championship means. And that's what we're building together." Then he walked off. Redick followed, and the entire press room was electrified. This was the most defiant NBA executive press conference in a decade, maybe longer.